Well, hello, friends and neighbors. Happy National Voter Registration Day. It's Tuesday, September 20th of 2022, and perhaps today is the day that you would like to get registered to vote. If you're watching this in Minnesota, this will be applicable to you because we're going to bop around the Minnesota Secretary of State's office website for information about getting registered. If you're watching from elsewhere, much of this information might be applicable to you just in your region. So you'll want to go to your state's Secretary of State website, or maybe your county's election office or your city's election office, and that'll help you figure out what you need to do to get registered. So we're here on the Office of the Minnesota Secretary of State website, which is an excellent hub for all things elections and voting that you need. You can choose the language that's best for you here. And what you first want to do is check your voter registration. So this is a page where you'll enter your name, your zip code, your date of birth, and click continue, and it'll tell you if you're already registered to vote. If this web page brings up a message that says, hey, you're registered, you're already in the system as registered, then you're good to go. All you need to do is show up to the polls on election day or at an election office if you're voting early or absentee, and give your last name. If you get a message that says, hey, you're not showing registered to vote, then we're going to go over here to register to vote, and you have a few options. You can register online using your address, an identification card number or driver's license number, or if you are a participant in a safe at home address confidentiality program, there are resources for you for registering that are different and don't use your address. You can register on paper by downloading a paper application here in many languages. What you'll do is fill this out, sign it, and mail it in to the Secretary of State's office at this address that's notated here. Finally, you can register in person. So if you're going to vote early at a county election office, or if you're going to your local polling place on election day, you can register same day. What you'll need to do is prove your residence in the state of Minnesota and in your district for the last 30 days before the election. So if your current ID has your legal name along with the address where you are currently residing in Minnesota, valid from the last 30 days, all you need to do is bring that ID. If your ID doesn't currently match the address where you're living in Minnesota, say you're a student or you recently moved, what you'll need to do is bring your approved photo ID, even if it's from another state or it's an ID from a university or college, and then also bring an approved document from the last 30 days. So this is going to be something like a credit card, phone bill, maybe your lease agreement or a rent or mortgage statement that shows your name matching how it matches on your ID, along with your address, so that it shows, hey, I've been living at this address and perhaps paying a bill, or this is my lease agreement at this address in Minnesota for the last 30 days. The other thing that you can do is bring a registered voter with you on election day. If you are living somewhere and you don't have these documents and you're not registered to vote, if there's somebody else who's your neighbor or they live in your apartment building or dorm, they can come with you. And if they are a registered voter already, they can vouch for you and say, I know, and I will sign on the fact that that person lives at this address and they can vote in this precinct. This is also a way that folks who are experiencing housing instability or currently experiencing homelessness can vote. So if there's someone experiencing homelessness in your neighborhood who typically resides at a certain spot or address, you're able to vouch for them as a registered voter so that we all have our civic rights for voting on election day. There are a number of other ways that you can be registered if you live in a residential facility, or if you're living at a dorm currently because you are in college or university. And if you are experiencing a number of other current ways of being where you're not sure how to register, the Secretary of State's website is going to give you all of that information. I'm only in Minnesota temporarily. I'm moving. Things of this nature. All of this information will be on this website, again, in the languages that you might need. So today on National Voter Registration Day, it's a great day to check your registration and also see if you qualify to vote based on the number of characteristics that are the case for Minnesota voting. These are all of the different things that have to be the case for you to vote are listed here. And again, if you have questions about certain identities or ways of being that you're occupying currently, you can find those on this left tab here on the address. One thing to note is that while Minnesota has made great strides in making the right to vote more accessible for as many communities as possible, we still have a long ways to go for enfranchisement to be fully accessible to all Minnesotans. And so that's something we want to continue to cast our ballot for and advocate for at local, state, and federal levels. The last day to register to vote before the election is October 18th. So you can register in advance any day from now until October 18th. After that time, you'll have to register same day at your polling place on election day in November, or if you go to vote early at any of the early voting locations, you can register same day as well. Happy registering today. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us at pubpaul@ywcampls.org. And we'll have another video in coming weeks about everything you need to know in order to cast your ballot. Thank you for your civic engagement.